When talking about rich people, you probably picture some old or wrinkly white man wearing a suit sitting in a boardroom. Well, there's a new kind of rich individual that's as far away as possible from this kind of identity. They don't give an F about what you think of them. They're young, unapologetic, and self-made. Here are 15 signs you are the new rich. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Number 1. Enough money to work as little or as much as you want without impacting your lifestyle. Rich is when you get paid a lot of money. Wealthy is when you no longer need to work to make a lot of money. The new rich are individuals that can live an upper middle class lifestyle without having to work. They figured out a way to generate extraordinary income, took almost all of it and moved it into boring investments like real estate and turned it into Airbnbs, laundromats, parking lots, you name it. They usually have a business manager that takes care of the day-to-day activities. If the new rich were to stop working today, they've got enough money to cover their lifestyle costs and then some. Number 2. You are post-economic. The new rich are post-economic. This means you can't convince them to take a job they don't want to do by throwing money at them. They simply don't need money anymore and aren't willing to compromise who they are just for a bag. Money was a challenge and a mission they already conquered. They know they can always flip a switch and generate more on their own. They don't need a third party to provide for them. The new rich say no to more business opportunities and ideas than any generation before, mostly because they don't want the stress or to be bothered by the responsibility toward others. Number 3. You measure wealth in stress-free time. The new rich measure their wealth by how much life they have in their time, not the other way around. You know people who have tons of free time, waste days on the couch, but are anxious about the future. The goal is to be able to do anything you want without that voice in your head telling you that you should actually be doing something else. Living where your feet are, reducing the volume of stress your mind has to deal with, allows you to feel like you're wealthy. The old rich had a ton of money, but they were so scared about losing it all, they never found peace. Number 4. You cut the checks and make other people rich. The new rich are king makers themselves. The new rich are able to help others get rich because their success didn't come as a one-off. The new rich are the owners, not the employees. They're the ones who cut the check, not the ones who receive it. A good rule to remember in life is, usually the one receiving the check makes substantially less than the one cutting it. Steph Curry is rich. He gets paid a lot of money. But Joe LaCob, the owner of the Golden State Warriors, he's wealthy. The new rich don't see themselves as being for sale, so they've made it their mission to do things on their own. The new rich know that by making other people rich, they solidify their own position. Remember, if it's lonely at the top, it's because you didn't bring enough people with you. Number 5. You're walking in the footsteps of legends. The new rich have role models, mentors, and teachers. They follow, study, and break down how others have done it. They make it their own mission to emulate and adapt everything they learn from previous generations in order to accelerate their own progress. They give them the flowers the previous generation deserves in terms of fundamentals. Ask any of the new rich and they'll tell you who their mentors are and just how valuable their input has been. It might shock you, but the new rich are more than willing to pay $50,000 and up for 2 hours of focus time with someone they admire or respect, just to see what kind of insights they can pull. The new rich donated $250,000 to a cause just so they could be in the same room with people that are 10 to 20 steps ahead of where they are. The new rich have figured out that the more money they spend on mentors and coaches, the more money they'll make or save in the long run. Average people can massively benefit from this kind of input as well. They just don't have the money, so we decided to do something about it. And that's exactly what the Alux app does. We pay these people their exorbitant fees on your behalf and record the answers so you can get access to the same high-level insights for only $99 a year. Go to Alux.com/app right now, download it, and allow it to transform your life. If you find value in our content here on YouTube, the app is 100 times more jam-packed with knowledge. Number 6. You're surrounded by people who've already achieved success but keep pushing themselves. If you pay close attention to the new rich, you'll see they don't move alone. They travel in packs. They live in houses together. They work out, eat, think, collaborate, and do deals together. The new rich figured out that wealth isn't a single-player game, and it's much easier to get there when you play with people who have the same goal as you. They find people they vibe with in a similar age group, and they leverage each other's know-how and networks to make each other even richer. They are fully transparent, put all the cards on the table, and make it a priority to help each other win. It's simple math if you think about it. If you go it alone, it'll probably take you 100 mistakes to get to your goal. But if you've got 5 friends going at the same pace you are, you'll each only have to go through like 20 of them because you can learn from one another. In this case, collaboration allows all of you to achieve your desired outcome 5 times quicker than if you were to go it alone. Number 7. You wake up happy to be you as your life is actually fulfilling and enjoyable. The new rich wake up happy and rested. Imagine opening your eyes in the morning and being thrilled to be living the life that you are. The new rich actively practice gratitude. They're super thankful to be in their position. They're committed to making the most out of this render of the simulation. Even if you're not one of the new rich, we want you to take this opportunity to quickly remind yourself that there are 8 billion other people on this planet. At any moment in time, there are at least 2 billion people who, if they were to trade their lives with yours, they would feel like they accomplished every goal they've ever had. Never take for granted what you've got, because your reality might be someone else's dream scenario. Number 8. The lavish lifestyle gets boring fast, and they transition to minimalism. Most of the new rich grew up with nothing, so when you first get money, everything is exciting. You want to show it off because spending money is something you never had the opportunity to do, so it's enjoyable. That's why you see all of these newfound wealth kids flexing so much online. They're looking for status and to show the world they've arrived. Run the tape a few years forward, and the appetite for flexing drops considerably. The first time you walk into Louis Vuitton or Chanel and actually have the money to buy something, it's really exciting. But the law of diminishing returns kicks in when it comes to the dopamine you get from spending. 2 or 3 purchases in, and it's no longer a thrill, it's just a bag or a backpack. While the old generation of wealth lived these lavish lifestyles with a majority of their focus on possessions, the new rich see possessions as a burden. Their entire business is a laptop. Not even that, it's all backed up on the cloud. So they travel light, they rent the mansions instead of buying them because they know that they themselves will change with time, so no reason to tie themselves down. Number 9. You're the first generation to create wealth through new tech. The new rich are defined by new technology, so much so that old rich people can't understand how you made your money. Even if you tried to explain it, it's hard for them to wrap their minds around the kind of numbers thrown around today. Back in their time, to make $1 million a month, you would need a big factory, hundreds if not thousands of employees, multiple offices and buildings. Now, the new rich do these kinds of numbers with digital products or by outsourcing all production overseas and keeping under 10 employees. Every new technological wave creates an abundance of wealth. Blogs, social media, video, blockchain, now AI, each of them evolves into massive industries where those who speak the language are able to take full advantage of it. Number 10. Depression, anxiety, and a strange feeling of emptiness. If there's one thing the new rich deal with that the older generations don't, it's this feeling of angst. It used to take a lifetime to build generational wealth and achieve success. The new rich do it before they turn 30 or 35. You've seen everyone around you struggle with it their entire lives, and you are ready to go the long run. But the new rich sacrifice everything else. They get laser focused and get it done exponentially faster. What you're left with is a lack of a sense of purpose. What next? Sure, it felt great to proverbially arrive, but it didn't feel like the end of a long marathon. The new rich worked hard, but deep down they got there quicker and swifter than even they expected. With the world in your hand, everybody asking things from you, one can retreat into their own shell in order to distance themselves from the world. The new rich often have panic attacks, deal with anxiety and depression. You used to have 40 years to mature into your identity before you had to deal with the problems an abundance of financial success can bring. This is why most child actors find it incredibly hard to cope. Money, wealth, and success are both a blessing and a curse. We talk about this frequently on the Alux app. Trained neuroscientists, therapists, and psychiatrists infuse our daily Alux sessions with tools and techniques to keep it all under control so you can come out ahead. If this sounds like you, give the app a try by going to Alux.com/app. Get the free trial and see if things improve. But if those dark thoughts are really serious, we strongly recommend that you consult a specialist, okay? Number 11. You're disrupting a category or industry with new business models. The new rich do to industries what the internet did to newspapers. This is one of the main reasons the old rich despise this new generation, because their legacies are being buried. Mr. Beast has a larger monthly audience than all mainstream media combined. Vitalik Buterin can make traditional financial institutions extinct in our lifetime if the Ethereum product follows its roadmap. OpenAI could crumble the entire search engine industry by delivering a net superior product, which is why Google lost $100 billion in the last 72 hours. The new rich put old businesses online and leverage social media for distribution. You want to be rich? Find a business that has a fax machine and put it on the internet. Number 12. Location-independent digital native. The new rich are no longer location-bound. Their entire business is on their phone or laptop. Why would they stay where the weather sucks when they could be on a beach where it's always sunny? Why would you pay 60% tax when you could move to a different corner of the world where you could live like a king and pay no income tax? The old rich couldn't move their factories or office buildings, but the new rich can. This gives them unlimited flexibility in terms of location. One day you're in London, the next in Dubai, heading for Singapore before you come back to Miami for a tech event. Number 13. Risk embracer. The old rich hate risk. They made it their mission to minimize risk in all its forms. The new rich, on the other hand, they got rich by embracing risk, by going all in on new tech. It's also a difference of follow-up options if the risk doesn't play out. If you're in your 20s or 30s and you've already made a ton of money on the internet and blockchain comes around, you're more likely to roll the dice on new tech and throw a good portion of your net worth into Bitcoin just in case it plays out the way you think it will. If it does, you're set for life. If it doesn't, well, you're still in your 30s with hopefully a long life ahead of you, so no biggie. Number 14. Exponential growth happened super fast in under 5 years. The new rich are defined by one thing: speed. Things need to happen fast. Money is now on steroids. The last 5 years have been a roller coaster, and you ended up on top. When things started popping off for you, you left everyone in the dust. People who knew you 5 years ago think you're still the same kind of person, but almost everything has changed. You became someone new along the way, an elevated version of who you once were. And most of them are unable to comprehend what exactly has happened and how you ended up in the position you're in today, because time has passed very differently in their universe compared to yours. Number 15. Independent builder in public. The new rich build in public. You can track their progress since day one. Everything was done in the open, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can see where they've struggled and what were their inflection points. Nobody made you king, but you built a crown yourself out of the support your community shows you. Almost all of the new rich have started from the bottom and built their way up. First, it was a couple of fans, then things started spiraling. Your fans, your audience, your community, and your customers, they want to see you do well. They're willing to support you because they connect with who you are and what you stand for from a values perspective. You've earned their trust, and you don't take it for granted. Our entire business strategy was to provide you, the Aluxer, with as much transformational value as possible that when we do drop a paid product, you almost feel obligated to support us. The new rich give first, and then if the audience finds value, they receive support. It's a new way of thinking and doing business that our generation is pushing. In your life, you might have met a couple of people who are a part of the group of new rich. Some of you might already be a member of the new rich, so we're asking, what would you add to this list? Let us know in the comments. And since you've already made it to the end of the video, here's the bonus you're waiting for. Levels of wealth. So there are particular levels of wealth that one should be aware of. Poverty is being one emergency away from homelessness. Poor is having stability, but the kind that's being held together by duct tape. You have predictability, but only for the next few weeks or months. Middle class is having stability, but no assets. The kind of stability where it looks like you'll keep your job for the foreseeable future. Upper middle class is stability, a little bit of comfort, and a few assets. Your job or business does well, you have additional income that you can invest. Rich is having enough capital gains or passive income to live on, at least a middle-class lifestyle. And wealthy is when your assets generate so much income you could use it to acquire additional income-generating assets. And even here, there are different levels of wealth, which translate to the following. Level 1 wealthy is where your kids will live an upper-class lifestyle even if they choose to do nothing. Level 2 wealth, where your grandkids will live an upper-class lifestyle even if they choose not to work. And everything else, well, that's where we enter Lex Luthor or Bruce Wayne territory, and that's a league all on their own. If you now understand that there are levels to existence, please write the word levels in the comments. Let's see which one of you is willing to play the game of life and win as many levels as possible, while everyone else is scared to climb. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Aluxer. We're so glad you did. If you found value in today's video, please give us a like, hit that bell icon to never miss an upload, and hey, don't forget to subscribe.